Hello everybody and welcome back to another What If Civilization Started Over video. And today we are going to be looking at more of the Cold War. And last time we saw this blue country get more land, and the red team also got more land from the darker red country. It's barely anything compared to what it once was. And then we have also this new country right here, this little green thing. We also had this country down here getting split up, with the brown team getting most of the land and a rebellion getting some of the land, but it's still alive. And that's all that happened. It was a shorter episode. We also did the nuke count, and today we are going to be seeing some new stuff happening. First of all, this country gets split up. It wasn't going to last long. It got pretty big for a while there, but now it's getting split up again. And there was a little bit of people involved with this because they do not want the brown team coming back. So they get that emerges out, and we also see a cyan team that takes most of the land, all down here. And then it splits up into another group that'll be right here. And this country is completely gone now. And major cities, we can see that this country had a major city. That's going to be their capital. The other country already has a capital, and this new country's capital is going to be right there. So that happens. And now Europe is even more split up. But next is more Russia, as a new kind of rebellion pops up, and it starts over here in the areas that were once occupied by this country and during that war that we saw. And it's going to take some of this land over, and eventually it's going to go into this country and take over these lands. But eventually, since they do have nukes, they're just going to give most of their land back to about like this, and the rest is going to be made into a new province. As that becomes a province, that becomes a province, and you might have already guessed what this is supposed to be looking like, but if you haven't already, it is very simple. It is going to be like a Prussia of this timeline. But it eventually takes over this area, and it goes in down here. And up there, and it takes over more land, and it's going to have all of this land, and there's going to be a peace treaty involved with it. And in said peace treaty, they get all that land. All that land goes to them, as well as land up here. A little bit of it is going to go to them, including this province, that province, and then these other provinces are going to be split up, and we will see that. And in it, it's going to be split up kind of like this, where the new province gets created down here. And then there's going to be a province right there, and then one right there, and there. So we're going to see that these little bits of provinces that they had being retaken over, as well as this one gets taken back over, but they are going to get that province. And then we see Russia is getting weaker. They're still going to be pretty important to the Cold War, but they're getting very weak at this point. But anyway, we're going to see that their capital is going to be put on to a major city, and it's going to be put right here. So we see the new Prussian team, and this Prussian team is going to be pretty strong. They're going to be like a good size of strongness. But now something's going to happen, and that's going to basically change the course of the Cold War, and that is that Copenhagen gets took, and it's pretty brutal, as they had some military forts there that were pretty important, but it's getting taken over, as well as the entirety of Denmark gets taken over. And now we see some other countries get in on this, such as the Orange Team's alliance, as they're going to immediately go in. And I should probably change the color of it to like this. Yeah, they're going to go in immediately, just like this. The purple team's also going to go in. And if you're wondering which purple team, I haven't really made that clear, it's going to be both purple teams. And they're threatening the capital almost instantly. But since this land is important, they're going to be able to defend it. But just like that, and they defend it. But now we see this other purple team get in on the action, and they march in. Let's change that color. Yeah, they're just going to march in through this side. And they're going to take over a good amount of land. I need to make this a little bit brighter. So, we're going to make it this color. This color should work nicely. Yep. And they march in. And this Great Britain is pretty strong, and they're able to get pretty far. And then we see, so this is like a Germany country already, but we're also going to see a country revolting, and it's going to be actual Germany, as they take over all this area. And the Russian team alliance is pretty weak at this point. And the purple team is eventually going to fight it off. As well as some down here. but it's to no avail, as they're doomed to fall, and now the final thing is going to happen. That's going to set it in stone, and that's going to be the purple team coming in and taking the capital. It's all gone. And then we see the orange team march their troops up a bit. Just like this. And now we're going to see a peace treaty as they completely fall over to the orange team. One of the original aggressors of this, the second person to attack. Okay, and now we can see the peace treaty. And first of all, we see that the orange team got a good amount of land, as well as the purple team, who got the original capital city. And we see this new country got rid of so Germany is no more, and this is the new Germany. And next, we also see that Britain also got a good amount of land, and Sweden got all of Denmark. And now, the thing we see next is we're going to look at the AN, and as we see, we need to update this part, but they are going to not join the AN, but they will be closely aligned with the AN, and they might join eventually. We see out of these new countries, the red country and the cyan country are in, whereas the slime team is not in. Then if we look over here at this country, and this purple country is not in it, as they do not like because they're pushing towards peace, right? And the brown team attacked them, and they didn't do anything about it, so they don't like that, whereas this new country did join. And that's all we have to do with the AN. Now, probably one of the most important parts of this new Germany is that if we go to the alliances, we see that they are not in the Trapezoid Alliance. And that's going to be pretty influential, as now Russia doesn't have really any influence into any of Europe, because if you'll look, they used to have all this land, right? They had all this land, right? So they had all that land. So they were in Europe, which they still are. But now their ally, who is all the way in Europe, isn't on their alliance anymore. So they're pretty much out of their sphere of influence doesn't go into Europe very much. Whereas it used to kind of go like this about. It would have gone about like that. And now it's just like this. Like it has no influence here. So that's going to be very bad for them. And they're going to decide that they're going to end them. They're going to just stop. And then we see something that's been happening for a long, and it's going to be happening for a long time. And it's election day. And there are two candidates for the Russian team. One is deeply aligned with the AN. Even though they're not in it right now, they're deeply aligned with it, and they wish to join it and work towards peace. Whereas the other one is very aggressive, and he's trying to win. And then there's one that's trying to go for both. he wants more land, but he wants to go peacefully about it and hopes to like unify some people, like this new country right here and this country right here. They hope to unify with them. But let me guess who wins. Put your guess in the comments for who you think wins. 1, peaceful. 2, aggressive. Or 3, both. And if you can guess, it's going to be the one who wants the aggressiveness. And as soon as he gets voted in, so the majority of people who voted for him are in this area as they want him to be leader and they want to get their old lands back. But people like out in Siberia, they don't really align with this, which is going to start a massive rebellion once again. And eventually we see most of Siberia declare independence. And now we're going to see something new that we haven't really seen in a while. And that is going to be a new country forming right here. And now this is basically going to mark the beginning of Russia splitting up, as this part declares independence, which is a part that votes for the aggressive leader. But they were more mixed for the person in the middle. And now there's just this vast open area that isn't connected to Russia. This is like the real Russia. This is like Poland now, even though it's still Russia. And we are going to be seeing all of this declare independence in different little groups. And this is going to change up a lot of things. And that's another group we see. And now I'm going to do a peace treaty kind of thing. But instead of a peace treaty, it's going to be okay. And these are the groups that are going to decide to split up. First off, we have this big white group, and they're going to be about this big. Then we see these two groups down here. You probably saw this one right here, the light peach color. But then we also see this purple group, and up here this green group. And next, we're going to see outside countries get in on this, and especially some of like the green team. They're going to march in to this area, not the other area, but because that area is probably more armored. They are going to go to this area, and they eventually take over something like this. And then some of these groups get a little bit bigger, especially this one. This one does get a good amount of land. And this one up here doesn't really have anybody in it, so they're going to be able to go down and get some more land. And this area is going to have more people in it. But as you can see, there's like no major cities up here because there's no one really who lives here. And there's another country, is this country, is going to get into it. And they weren't really satisfied with the peace treaty, so they're going to go in. And this area is their old land, so they're going to go into that. And then this big country is going to take a good chunk, this red country. And now we see Russia getting attacked from the middle, as Prussia wishes to get more land than they want to get more land that they could have gotten. So they march into these areas. But this area is highly guarded because they have some of their elites here. And eventually, Russia is able to push into Prussia, attacking from here and here. I now notice that's too close to Germany. Well, it's okay. And then back over here, the remaining amount of territory is just going to become this color. And now we see Russia being divided up, as the last bits of Russia here are going to turn. Okay, and there we go. As we can see, Russia is now gone. They don't survive anywhere. And the main part of Russia here executes that new leader that they had just got. And most of the countries don't know, but there's a reason why this rebellion happened, and there's a reason why he was executed. And a lot of countries think this punishment was way too harsh for just being a new leader, but most people don't know what was happening inside. And we can see that there's this country, then there is this country, and all the countries got independence. They're all here now. And the borders were changed up, and some new provinces were made. But the Green Team got 2 provinces through it. And it was the only country that did anything. And now all we have to do left is go to here and get rid of this. Russia is non-existent now, so we won't have to worry about them. And this alliance is gone. And that is a relief for many people. And now we have the rest of these countries down here, as these two continue the alliance, even though the rest of the countries just left. 2 of them don't exist anymore, and 1 of them left because of its old allies. They're left. And then all we have to do is go to the Association of Nations and see which ones join and which ones don't. And first of all, this new Russian team is going to decide to join. They join, or wait, that's the wrong button. So they join. Countries that don't join is this green team and this purple team and this peach team. Meanwhile, the rest of them do. And now we can see all this new stuff, and the Russian religion is still a thing carried on throughout these countries. And now we're going to go through each of these layers and we'll show you what they do. And after all that happened, we're going to see. So this is the country's layer where everything happens. I'm going to turn all the other layers off. Then major cities layer, province layer, the nuke layer, which I'm going to update in a bit, but you can see all the nukes. The AN, and so you can see all that. Then the alliance layer with all the alliances and economical alliances, as well as defensive pacts, which we had one in the world, but it expired. And next we see the religion of the world. Then after religion, we have trade route, which hasn't been used in a long time because we're never going to need it. But now I'm going to update it. I mean, I might as well. And oh wow, we're gonna continue it through here, I guess. And it jumps into Europe, going like that. And then from here, it meets up in the American capital, where it goes down into Florida, through here, where it meets up again. Then it goes through these countries this way. meets back up there. As well as going through the American capital again. Going along the coast. Reconnecting back up. Over here in Asia, there is this big main trade route that goes through there. As well as some shortcuts. Like that. But this is going to be a pretty major trade route as it goes through a lot of these places. And it actually goes into Taiwan and the Philippines, down into Papua New Guinea, all the way across into these countries, into New Zealand, this new country, loops back up, and it also connects with the Indonesian team. And some of these countries in here are going to get linked up. And that's going to be really the last time we're ever going to use the trade routes. They are pretty worthless. Besides for back a long time ago. So we can turn that off now. And now, as we see, Russia is gone and their allies are gone. We see something new happening, and the Cold War is now down to 2 countries, the Red Team and the Korean team. And this is how the Cold War is going to be. And the main place we see it is, as we can see, there's just like buffer countries that are that separate all these different countries. But we need to get rid of this country and the alliance. It's not an alliance anymore. And we also see that, the Triangle Alliance is like a buffer area. But we see this border being armed. So this whole border is armed. And we also see some other areas being armed. And we see a lot of troops moving through it. And one country that is worried by this is going to be this team, as they see some troops heading this way. And they warn the brown team that something might be happening. And that is pretty much going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and it was a very big episode. Not for like long, but a lot of stuff happened. As Europe, it was all Europe basically. And Europe now is, you can't tell that there's a big difference between Europe in this episode and last episode. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.